The NFC East always provides amazing matchups, and I think this Week 7 matchup between the Commanders and the Giants will be no exception. The Commanders are well in the playoff hunt. They are 3-3, while the Giants are not having the season that they have expected at all, going 1-5. Definitely, they are not helping out our prediction that they were a shoo-in for at least a wild card spot. They're not going to make the wild card spot. This team is just, you said it before we went live where we were wondering on the status of Daniel Jones or if Tyrod Taylor's going to start. And you're like, who's going to start? And it's like, that doesn't matter either way. And it's like, I agree completely. They have so many injuries on the offensive line, and their offensive line is hot trash anyways. I think Saquon being back actually did help out just the dynamicness of the offense in general. But still, it still wasn't a good performance against this Bills team this past week. I thought it was mediocre at best. And the Bills played horrible. That was the only reason why the game was close, to be completely honest. So I still don't really know entirely what to think of this team, just other than the fact that if you can't protect your quarterback, if you can't create running lanes for your best player, then it's just I think that's just where they're going to struggle. And you look at this Commanders team who got, as a Falcons fan, I will gladly admit I'm salty about it, got a lucky win, got given a win by the Atlanta Falcons. But in general, though, there's still some positives I think that you could take from this Commanders team just as a whole. Sam Howell is still learning. I think he's only had 7 NFL starts now. Very dynamic receiving game from Terry McLaurin to Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown, Jahan Dotson. Then this defensive front is still no joke. The secondary still sucks. I will say that. So the Giants are going for them. Secondary is still struggling. Emmanuel Forbes didn't even start this past game. He got benched. He got benched because DJ Moore benched him in that Bears game. But I've been talking a lot. I want to throw it over to you. What are your expectations so far of each team coming into this game so far up to the season, and what each team has to do to win?
So if I remember right, the last 3 or 4 times these teams have faced each other, it's been a 1-score game. I think 2 out of the last 3 were decided by a field goal. I don't really expect this to be a bigger difference than a 1-score game. But I do think, looking at these 2 teams, the Commanders have a clear edge in this matchup. They have the more explosive weapons. I think they're going to have the better quarterback coming into this matchup. I know it's probably a little early to say Sam Howell is better than Daniel Jones, but at least it's a fair shake between the two. So, and that's even if Daniel Jones plays. So that for me, I don't know. I think the Giants got lucky. Tyrod Taylor, they might have caught the Bills off guard a little bit. But with that being said, the Commanders' defense is way better than what the Bills were able to throw out there with all the injuries that they have. So, and they were still only able to put up 9 points. Excuse me.
Let's clarify that though. I think if you look, the Bills' defense secondary do have some injuries. So maybe that makes it a little bit even. But as a whole, the Bills' defense, I think, might be more consistent. When we look at this Washington defense,
that's fair.
It's really just their defensive front that I think is the top. Is what makes this defense so good. If they didn't have Josh Allen or not Josh Allen, Jonathan Allen. Sorry, I was talking Jonathan Allen. If they didn't have those guys, then it would just be. This defense would be well below average because I think the secondary isn't good. I do like Jamin Davis as a linebacker. He was a first-round pick from 2021. He was his name was being thrown out a lot in the Falcons game. Just in general, I think this defense is just going to be a little more consistent, and with how inconsistent this Giants offense is, that's where I think it will probably be more than a 1-score game, in my opinion, in Washington's favor, because I think the Commanders will be able to go down consistently enough to where they could put up 21, 24 points, maybe even 27. While the Giants, yes, they'll go get a couple, just because there is some weaknesses on the Commanders' defense. But in general, though, I don't see how this Giants offensive line is going to be able to hold back Jonathan Allen or Chase Young or Deron Payne, any of those guys that I mentioned.
Yeah, that for me, I think Saquon Barkley, just because these division rivals know each other so well, I think Saquon Barkley will be semi-productive. My thing is just once they get down into the red area, how effective will this Giants offense really be able to be in actually punching the ball in the end zone? So Let's go ahead and get into predictions. But before we do that, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. And with that being said, Tyler, I want to throw it over to you first. I can kind of already tell, but who do you have coming out ahead in this matchup?
The team formerly known as the Washington football team. They're going to win this game here. I just think in general, I think they'll be able to be more consistent overall throughout the 60-minute time span, while the Giants have struggled offensively because of their offensive line. And any team that's had a good defensive line that's been able to provide good pressure has just been horrible for this team. And I think it's amazing too. I did not realize this. They have not scored an offensive touchdown since the Thursday night game against San Francisco in week 3. It's been over.
That's horrible.
It's been over a month since they've scored an offensive touchdown.
Okay.
Their defense has scored twice as many touchdowns as their offense has during that time. I'm pretty sure it was the defense. Yeah, because they had 2 against, or maybe it was then special teams one. It was a kick return and then a pick. So that's what it is. Special
fantasy
teams
counts as the same. So
fantasy counts as the same. That's fair.
Yeah. So for me, that actually is going to play probably pretty well to my prediction. I'm going to stick with the 1-score game. However, I'm going to say that it's going to be 20-12 in favor of the Commanders. I just think that the Giants will probably be able to get up some field goals. They won't really be able to get the ball close to the end zone, though. And the Commanders, I think this offense, they really didn't look that great in Atlanta. They were able to get to 24 points, and then that was just enough to kind of put the Falcons in a situation where they were one-dimensional and had to throw the ball at the end of the game, and they were able to take advantage there. You watch that game better than me, but they really probably should not have won that game in Atlanta. I think the Falcons gave them a few gifts.
No.
So
I think if you're a Commanders fan and you're still here watching this video, 1, thank you. But 2, leave a comment down below and think if you guys should have won that game last week. The Falcons gave you that game. And now I am a Falcons fan, so I want to see if I'm just being biased and salty or if I'm actually accurate in saying that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be like a 20-12 type game with the Giants kicking 4 field goals there. So
yeah, that would be funny. Just keep the streak going.
Yeah,
this is the record. This is the record you don't want to have.
Well, to be fair, as a Patriots fan, I can kind of relate. The Patriots didn't score an offensive touchdown until last week from week 2, so that's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And to couple with that, we didn't have any defensive touchdowns all year. So
yeah. But you still have 6 Super Bowl rings. Giants have a lot of Super Bowl rings, though.
Yeah, they have 2.
Yeah, so, 2 against the Patriots.
I know. So I would say an expletive there, but this is a family channel. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Is it going to be the Washington Commanders? Is it going to be the New York Giants? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.